Oh, and welcome to another one of my videos. It's been about a week since I put a video out. I had been planning on putting some other videos out. I've just been a bit busy with other things. I had a batch of stamps come in. I'm sorting through another batch from Australia, but that should be me done. I wanted to talk about the gold price dropping. Now, I'm not really a fan of it goes up and it goes down. It's an incredibly tedious topic for me. I get people ask me all the time if it's going to go up or down. My response is always it goes up and down in upward motion over time. Now, I feel that my role on YouTube and my role kind of as a dealer is to explain why things happen rather than to predict the price going up or down. I always see it and I always hear it. So when the price drops drastically like it has, and I didn't think it would drop so much. I'll be honest, I thought it would drop to about 2-1. It's gone lower. It's gone to 2000, I think, 2015. I'll quickly just double check that because I'm not entirely sure. I probably should have checked before I made the video. 2023, so about £65 a gram in sterling terms. When it drops, I always get inundated with messages saying, Sean, can you sell to me for spot or for whatever? So what happens when the price shoots up? Dealers will put coins out, or they put bars out, they put products out at spot in terms of bullion. And the reason being it's coming in so quickly because there's lots of sellers, and the dealer's job is to gouge the spread and work out what to buy for and what to sell for. And when it drops, people clock that it's going for, say, spot, and then it drops and they're like, well, I want it for spot. And I always hear these comments and it would say something along the lines of, and this is not aimed at any one individual. I've seen this comment so many times over the last maybe 8 or 9 years. It's almost comedy for me because it shows that there's a lack of understanding. It will go along the lines of, oh, dealers are the first people to put their prices up, but the last people to bring their prices down. And it just shows a lack of understanding in terms of how the market works. So I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to the best of my ability, and people can ask me questions about it if they wish. And if they want to disagree with me, then they're more than welcome to. I don't doubt that there's some poor market participants in terms of dealers. I've personally come across some. I've personally dealt with some. It's okay. So what will happen when the price shoots up? The market mechanism dictates that people are going to sell their positions. They're seeing the record high prices and they're thinking, you know what, I've been gifted this, or I've had this for a long time. I'm happy to liquidate it. Or maybe they've been forced out of their position. It's come at the right time for them. And a dealer's going to clock this. A dealer's going to be like, oh, hang on, I've got a lot of stock coming in. And what's going to happen is they're going to move what they pay in terms of the premium. So I moved what I paid to 97%. I'd never in the past paid 97%. And it wasn't a matter of greed. It was the fact that the price went up and up and up and up. And me paying spot, I couldn't sell it for spot. And this is probably where I was getting a bit frustrated with my former business model, where I was dealing with middlemen, was because I always took pretty much everything. And that doesn't work in some markets. There's not enough in the middle to deal with some people. And the reason I did it for so long is because I had consistency and I was moving postage, but it wasn't really doing me any good because I didn't really have the my own autonomy to set my prices on certain things. The reason I kind of stopped that was because I, I don't want to say my suppliers were greedy, but they were too resistant to change. So when the market changed, they got paid regardless. Whereas on some occasions I wasn't getting paid, or I was getting paid the very thin wedge of it. And I thought it was very kind of tedious to deal with people who they were making money regardless, and I wasn't on some occasions. I don't think that's right. It's not a money thing. It's a principle thing. But to go back to dealing with the clients, like I said it at 97 because I was selling at spot, but it hasn't changed. Like when the spot price crashes, you get people who they're like, oh, it's a new low. I want to buy, 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 buy. And dealers can't bring that price down without taking a loss until fresh stock comes in. So what's going to happen is a lot of dealers are going to be working on moving averages. And I'm not talking about the biggest dealers. It has been spoken about on my channel via some comments where why don't you get contracts? Unless you're a massive player, contracts are then it's hard to balance it out. And also, you need to be buying from the primary source. In a secondary market, you're probably not buying enough for contracts to be worthwhile. And secondly, you don't know what will come in. So how do you gauge what contract to buy to hedge your bets? I got away with it in terms of stamps, but I've digressed. So when the price comes down, people want to pay what the premium was when the price was at the record high, which would have naturally come to spot because it's people buying, 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 buying. What will happen is dealers will need stock and they need stock quickly. So they've gone from paying 97 to paying slightly more. I don't know whether that be 98, 99, spot, 1%. I've benchmarked my price at 97 because I'm working through stock at the moment. But people don't realise that. And there seems to be this us versus them mentality amongst some sections of the peer-to-peer market, as if the dealers who have benefited from the price rise are trying to price gouge on the price fall. And it's not the case. It really isn't the case for most dealers. They're still trying to balance the book. The overall spread they're making is probably the same. It's just their individual premiums for buying and selling it's just moved along. So say you got spot in the middle, it's just moved. It moves like this. Now for me, I'm not really buying much bullion at the moment. I've decided that I don't really want to do the donkey work, and it is donkey work. There's not a lot of money in bullion. Not if it's a volume game. But if I was wanting to get more stock in, I could put the feelers out and I could say, I need stock. I'm going to up my buy price. And then I'd have certain people come back and say, actually, I'm going to hold out for slightly more. The price has dropped too much for me to want to sell it on that premium. There's going to be some people like, I could do that. They've had fresh stock come in. And you need to realize that some dealers will pay 10% under. Some dealers will pay 5% under. Some dealers will pay spot. And it's all a case of who's the quickest to maneuver. Now, in the past, I've always said that I like to be a small business. And this is true because it allowed me to outmaneuver my competition. So if someone had a huge position, they get caught at the top. Some of them lose money. They lose money on the spike. Not all of them. The best dealers the best dealers are the most sensitive to the price changes, and they know where to position themselves in terms of buying. They're the best dealers. It's a very difficult compromise. You'll go through having too much stock. And I'll give you a prime example. There was a dealer recently selling Krugerrands for spot. Fantastic value. They got too much stock. The drop's always coming. The drop is inevitable because it goes up too quickly and then it drops. And then it forms a base and it goes again. And then you elongate that over time. And what happens is you get record highs over time. It's a very difficult job being a dealer. And if you're very skilled at it, you have the cash flow to deal with it, then you'll make a lot of money from the ins and outs of the market. Personally, again, I've said this in the past, I prefer a flat market. I know what I'm buying, I know what I'm selling. I don't like to move my prices too much. I think people are very they're sensitive to prices. Now, over the last few months, I've paid 97. I'm probably going to still benchmark it at 97. If I've got to the point where I'm like, actually, I'm desperate for stock, I will have to up the price to get the stock in. But if I'm not, I don't have to up the price. And that's how it works with dealers. It's just a very fluid market. And it's not a case of dealers are ripping people off or they're trying to have their cake and eat it. You need to understand that each market trades differently and you've got to balance the book as a dealer. So that's my explanation of why the prices haven't remained at spot. It's very hard to do it. I wouldn't be shocked if the price stays the same, that your kilos, your ounce coins are going to go to spot +2, spot +3%. There'll be a bit more normality in the market, which is, I think is a good thing. It's really hard to keep on top of it, like I said. Now, I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. I didn't think it would drop down to 2020. I didn't think we'd get there personally. Do I think we're going to have new record highs in terms of the next to 12 months. Yes, I do. I'd put a lot of money on it. I'm not really a betting man these days, though. Anyway, I hope you've gained some insight into this video. I will try and put out some more content, but I have been pretty busy. I need to be more consistent. I know that. Take care, guys. Bye.